Hello, and welcome back to InfoSec Insights. In the last video, we have discussed the topic of baseline, and in this video, we will cover the topic of guidelines and its importance in governance and information security. So let's begin. The topics we are going to cover today are guidelines. Guidelines are a set of recommendations, rules, or instructions that provide direction or advice on how to perform a task, achieve a goal, or make decisions in a particular context. They offer a structured framework for individuals or groups to follow, ensuring consistency, efficiency, and desired outcomes. Now, the guidelines are recommended actions and operational guides to users, IT staff, operations staff, and others when a specific standard does not apply. They can also be used as a recommendation to achieve some specific standards. Guidelines can deal with the methodologies of technology, personal, or even physical security. Now, at times, policies and procedures has gray areas, and guidelines can be used as a reference point during those times. While standards are specific mandatory rules, guidelines are general approaches that provide the necessary flexibility for unforeseen circumstances. Now, some of the common examples of guidelines are password management guidelines. It can enforce the use of complex passwords containing a combination of uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters. Reason being that strong passwords are harder to crack, reducing the risk of unauthorized access to systems and data. Data classification guidelines. These guidelines can explain how to classify a data into categories such as confidential, internal, public, private, based on the sensitivity. Why we do this? Because proper classification ensures that data receives appropriate protection and controls based on its level of sensitivity. Remote work security guidelines. These guidelines can explain or can mention that use of a virtual private network or VPN while accessing the company resources from outside the corporate network. And why why they recommend the VPNs? Because VPN can encrypt the data traffic, enhancing the security when employees access company resources remotely. Patch management guidelines. These guidelines can explain how and when to update the operating system, applications, and software with proper security patches and updates. And why we do this? Because applying patches addresses known vulnerabilities and reduces the risks of exploitation by the attackers. Access control guidelines. These guidelines can mention to implement the principle of least privilege, granting users only the access rights necessary for their roles. And why we do this? In order to limit access so that the limiting access minimizes the potential damage caused by the compromised accounts and reduces the attack surface. Incident response guidelines. These guidelines can establish a clear incident response plan detailing the steps to take when a security breach occurs. Because a well-defined plan minimizes the damage, it can reduces the downtime, and it can also help to maintain stakeholder trust during security incidents. Data encryption guidelines. These guidelines can mention to encrypt sensitive data both in transit, that means using HTTPS, or at rest, for example, full disk encryption, because encryption ensures that even if data is intercepted or stolen, it remains unreadable without the proper decryption keys. Now, guidelines plays a crucial role in governance across various domains. They serve as a framework for decision making, behavior, and operations. In the context of information security, guidelines establish a consistent and standardized approach to information security practices within an organization, and it ensures that security measures are applied uniformly across different departments and teams. So, in this video, we have discussed the concept of guideline, its importance in the context of information security, and we have also reviewed some examples of guidelines along with their reasoning. So, if you like this video, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. If you have any questions or thoughts, do mention them in the comment section. I hope this has been informative to all. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.